Welcome back to the Storey Report. On this week's episode, we're going to talk about:
is rent control a thing of the past?
Is the winter a good time for a buyer to get into the property market?
The monthly stats?
And is it also a good time to trade up from a condo to a freehold property? Let's get right into it.
So starting off with the stats in the 416, condos continue to be the number one performing asset class, up 8.6% year over year. Now the average price of a condo in the 416, just over $600,000. When we look at townhomes, they're up at $766,000 in the 416, up just over 2% year over year.
Now the freehold market is really starting to pick up steam again. I think something we'll talk about later is just how that price gap's getting a little bit closer. So in the detached home market, the average price in the 416 was just over $1.3 million, and that was about a 1.5 jump up year over year. In the semi-detached market, we're looking at just over $1 million. That's an 8% jump up. So the reason the semis have been doing so well is because they're the most affordable freehold property type.
That's right. This is the same story we've been giving you for most of the year, in that entry-level options are causing appreciation across the board. That's why you're seeing semis and condos as the number one performing assets.
Now, for anyone looking at getting into the market, basically in the next 90 to 120 days, a month that we've really keyed in on is December. So last December, we actually sold 5 condominium units to our clients, and they were at the lowest price points that we sold the entire year. So historically, December has the lowest average price. So as a buyer, instead of taking the month off, even though there's less to look for, you also have way less competition. It may be your opportunity to get into that property at the right time.
And it's not 100% official yet, but we have heard rumors that rent control may be a thing of the past. Now, it's not that simple. Really what's happening here is we're reverting to the old rules where before 1991, anything was subject to rent control, but we're moving that date to November 15th of this year. So if you're buying a pre-construction, a new build, or a newly converted unit, those units will not be subject to rent control. So anyone who's got a unit that is pre-con that they're looking to rent out, this is great news as an investor. But a tenant, you don't need to worry. Your rent control rules still apply, so you won't be getting those major increases in rent anytime soon.
So essentially anything that has ever been rented before still has rent control, but any new rental after November 15th, 2018 that comes to the market, or converted property, right, that was converted into rentals, will no longer have rent control. Something interesting coming from the Ontario government.
Now, one question that we constantly ask and we constantly remind people about is now the right time to move up the property ladder? Meaning, if you own a condo or something else and you want to buy a freehold investment, is now the right time to sell and move up?
So there's never been a better time in the past 2 years than right now for someone that is looking to move up the property ladder. So if you have a condominium property, the demand is very, very high because of the price point. If you're looking to jump up to freehold, the price gap has actually gone down 23% from April 2017. So although it's still a large sum of money, percentage-wise, it's a lot lower. And something that we actually have kind of gone through with clients recently is when they jump up from a condo to a freehold properties, because there's no monthly condo fees, the carrying costs are actually very, very similar for a lot more space. So just something to think about.
And it's important to keep in perspective that even though interest rates are edging up slightly, historically we're still doing very well in terms of lending price. So something to keep into consideration, and now may be the right time for you to move up into that forever home.
Thank you for watching this episode of the Storey Report. We will see you next month.